Welcome back to our podcast, Mason Eating Chips. This is about to be 15 to 20 minutes of Mason crunching, and that's it.
Be sure to tune in next week when I crunch on something else.
Leave your crunchy snack recommendations in the comments, and be sure to click subscribe, like, and keep on crunching. Here we are.
Once again.
Episode 8. So
Episode
close
8.
to our goal of 10 episodes.
I don't even know what's going to happen after that. Do we just start back over at 1?
We have to go on hiatus as a podcast, not a band.
Yeah. Man, I love chips and salsa.
That's one of those very it's like a finicky snack. I think if the chips or the salsa individually aren't up to par, then the whole thing is out the window.
They are yin and yang.
Fitness is something that for some reason we've been covering for a minute per episode over the past couple of weeks.
Who?
We're doing this 7-minute workout app. Kind of looks like that.
Who?
Push-ups,
Just
sit-ups.
Your classic exercises. Last time we talked about this, I didn't do it. So I did it this week. I think I skipped the last 2 days. So I feel like this is a good thing to do on the road. Because
Yes.
I don't know about you, but when we're on tour, I get very van lazy. When we have a bunch of long drives and we're just
extermination.
I would love to get into that tour workout habit where these bands they get to the venue, they load in, and then they set up this gear. You know what I mean?
Gym.
They have
a gym.
They set up their fucking yoga mats or whatever, and they have their weights. There's a guy with a jump rope.
But yeah, I think this is something that I would like to do. It makes me feel a little bit better. Every time I just am a little more active.
It definitely it reminds me that I'm in a body in a weird way. Mm-hmm. I kind of think about I'm in a physical body with skin and bones. I'm here, I'm present, I'm in a room. In a weird way, it's definitely felt like meditating.
Here is my physical body that is feeling pain as I near my 9th push-up.
That's also something that someone who's trying to become more mindful look out for is also that bodily pain. Recognize at what part of your body that's happening. And
Yeah.
it's just a reminder. It doesn't make it go away.
Yes.
I have a leg. My leg doesn't feel great today, but it's not always going to be like that. That's that's life. That's yin and yang.
It's true.
That's chips and salsa.
That's chips and salsa, baby.
You're going to need a lot of salsa because we have so much to get into.
This is all I got. So
10 of the most thought-provoking, hottest philosophical questions about human nature and the human condition.
Not clickbait.
Number 1, what harsh truths do you prefer to ignore?
There are certain harsh truths
Mm-hmm.
that are not necessarily better to ignore. It's kind of one of those things where we think about world hunger. Realistically, what can I do to stop it is absolutely nothing. And it's not I don't ever think about these things or am
Of course.
yeah, it's just you're only psyching yourself out and making it harder for you to go about and do what good you can do in your life.
Right.
Does that make sense?
That makes perfect sense.
Turning your brain off for a little bit can be
Yeah.
healthy. I feel that sounds kind of privilegey. It's not that I want to ignore it. It's just that
Right.
there's simply nothing that I can do about
Exactly.
it.
So you've categorized it as something that unfortunately I can't think about this 24/7. It's your opportunity to take action and be a good person,
Exactly.
there's a fine line with ignorance and balancing your thoughts and balancing your actions. And I think there's a way to go about all of that that's, beneficial for every party.
Absolutely.
Ideally. Let's do number 2. Is free will real or just an illusion? This is something that I remember talking about in high school a lot.
So free will, what do you define free will as? Is that a person acting of their own individual accord?
I think so.
Are you making your decisions based off of what you actually want to do, or are you making decisions and actions based off of what everything surrounding you, is allowing you to do?
I think I'm definitely in the camp that free will exists only to like the smallest degree, in that you're basically saying yes or no to things that are being thrown at you.
Yeah.
But within that little like decision making complex, even your options are only your options because of your situation. You know what I mean? Within the simulation of Mason's life, you have free will. Everything you want to do, you can do it technically. You know what I mean? But outside of that, no.
I have the free will to take a chip out of this bag and not dip it in salsa.
The chain of events that is life and the universe was set off whenever the universe originally started, Big Bang, whatever you want to call it. Everything has not stopped since that moment, and everything is just a butterfly effect-esque chain of events. You know what I mean? Is there a meaning to life? If so, what is it?
Life has as much meaning as you decide to give it. You can decide that your life has meaning and purpose because of how much you care about what you're doing, you know? Like I love playing music and I love, doing being creative and stuff like that. And so I feel like my life has a purpose. Like on the flip side of that coin, I guess, I can see why people would say life has no purpose. I feel like purpose can be it depends on the individual more than anything else.
Okay, there's a word you said that stuck with me specifically, and I was like, that's the word for me that causes my life to have meaning. Is you said care. That is where my meaning comes from. It's like stuff that I care about, stuff that either brings me joy or makes me want to work towards something, or stuff I can look back on and be like, wow, I'm proud of that. I created that, it's stuff. Care is definitely vague, but care went into all those things, and I still care about them. And I care about I care about my family. I care about my girlfriend. I care about my dog. That's where I feel like meaning comes from, is just where you have attachments isn't the right word, because that I feel like devalues sort of the connection to those kinds of things. But
just
I guess passion for me is the way I think of it.
For sure.
Number 4 says, where is the line between art and not art? Whoa. The thing that comes to mind immediately is if someone says something's art, then it is art. You know what I mean? The person who says everything is art, you could also therefore say nothing is art.
Yeah, I feel like it's up to the artist to decide where the line is, and then it's the viewer's job to determine whether or not they like that art or they don't like that art. You have art that's just somebody just threw something at a paper or something. Yeah,
there's the classic example of Jackson Pollock. I feel like everyone, whenever anyone is trying to describe the interpretation of art, they use that as an example. Some people will look at that and see a beautiful tapestry of of colors and love and magic, but others will look at it and just see paint on paper.
If your little 3-year-old, bless her heart, sucks at drawing, mommy made you a picture for Mother's Day, of course you're gonna be that it's art,
right? And isn't it she made something, it doesn't have to be good. She might not even think it's good. She might be this sucks, but I tried my best. I'm 3.
It's I did the best. I don't know.
I can barely hold a pencil. Give me a break.
Yeah. It's hey man, way to go. You poured your heart into something, and it invokes an emotion in somebody, right?
Right. So
I feel any kind of thing that somebody makes, so all of the items that you consume are art in one form or another. This item right here is probably mass produced.
Something that's mass produced or even replicated, is only the original thing the art, or is every single product a piece in itself. Is that specific Bulbasaur art? You know, it was designed by the person who designed Bulbasaur. So it's like
whoever designed like the specific like layout of this toy, like figured out like the dimensions and like,
you know, maybe they were like, I have to design a toy. It's my job, you know, or I have to like, you know, lay out the blueprints for this toy and it's my job. I don't love that it's my job. I don't give a fuck about Bulbasaur. Like I hate Pokemon, but this is my job. I still think the toy at the end of the day is art. Is this tape dispenser art? And I kind of think in ways it is, because
it's not very good art.
Yeah, it does. It's definitely not emotionally provoking. But again, it's like there's an aesthetic purpose too. Like there's a reason this is brown. You know what I mean? So I think even a decision like that is artistic, quote unquote.
Yeah,
maybe
absolutely.
They don't think I'm making art, but yeah, the logo is art, but is the can art? You know what I mean? Like, is the physical can itself art?
I feel like the layout of like all the information is like artistic in a sense. You know, it's design.
And so is the shape of the can, you know, like there's a reason White Claws are like thin. I think the concept of the can and the concept of the tape and the concept of Bulbasaur and the toy representation of Bulbasaur.
So it's like
I think all of those are art.
Yeah,
the ideas, and then the fact, like the physical like thing that you hold in your hand too is like the result of the ideas. So I'd still call the physical part art as well. Maybe the process to make the art was more of a manufacturing, you know, approach. Everything can be art, but not everything is necessarily art.
Because like, you know, at the end of the day, like the purpose of the art is of like the art in like that kind of consumerist sense is to be sold.
Right.
So like it's fulfilled its purpose in that its purpose like for being created was that it was sold by something.
Right.
So maybe art is just something that is created with a purpose.
I feel like that definition is close, but not like
I feel like
exactly
it's not like the one.
Are you down to move on from this question?
Yeah, I don't
feel like we're not going to get to the bottom of it, but
yeah,
I think
feel like
some good.
Yeah, some good excavating.
This is so, it's weirdly similar to the sandwich. Like there is a hot dog a sandwich debate. Like, I'm
calling it.
I think that's a good idea. It's definitely an endless conversation.
Yeah. Well, I like the if somebody says it's art, then it's art. I feel like that's just like a good cutoff.
Yeah.
For it, like for me, like if somebody's like, I have made art, then I, as the consumer, can look at it and be like, that's really great or that's really bad.
So question 5 reads, what should be the goal of humanity?
Whoa. I feel like if everybody in the world gave a shit about everybody else in the world, the world would be a better place. And I don't think that we'll ever get to that point. But I think it's something that we should shoot for. On
a minutia level, I think it should be something that people are concerned about and people should work towards being just nice and thoughtful.
Yeah. It's really not that hard to be a nice person.
It's actually the easiest thing to do. I feel like we've had this like exact conversation where it's so hard to like be a bad person. Like you have to work for it so much.
Like what should be the goal is that everybody works together and we all care about each other, and you know, we discover that we unlock the great mysteries of the world and universe together, you know.
Yeah,
we learn more about ourselves and about like our surroundings. Like it's a competition between everybody because everybody thinks that they got the right idea, right?
It's just about that like self-preservation, you know, the like being safe, you know what I mean, being protected. There's a good amount of people out there who think that the status quo is okay, and like I was saying earlier, it's the people who are safe and preserved by it.
Empathy is like I feel like that's such an important human thing to have, you know. It's just, I don't know, it blows my mind, some of the stuff that people say and think is okay, but the goal of the human race should be to all get along. I'm actually out of salsa now.
fuck. We've been going for almost 3 hours, so we're gonna break this video into a couple pieces. So we did the first 5 of these questions. We're gonna do the next 5 in a sort of part 2 to this that I guess we'll put out next week. But we're gonna film it right now.